Hello, so this question is nested list weight sum number 2. So I'm going to try my best to explain. It's not easy to explain, but you are given an integer and a list in the nested list, which is a given. So what you should do is you want to calculate the depth and then find out the sum in the nested list, and then you want to multiply by the weight. So let me change my thing to light so we can see this easily. So this is the point. Multiply by is weight, and you can definitely apply this, but I'm not using this. I'm just looking at the question and I find out the weight. So this will be what? This will be a linked list inside a linked list. I mean, a list inside a list, and this will be a list inside a list as well. And this will be considered integer in this list. Okay, so we have the same point of view right now, right? So the depth for this value, this will be level 1, and then since you are in another list, so this will be, you add your level by 1, so that's why you have level 2 for the other two lists. So you can basically ignore this. This doesn't matter. So what you should do is this. When you see an integer, you want to add into your sum right away. Okay. If this is a linked list, you consider ignoring. What you should do is you want to iterate the list for the next iteration. But in the meanwhile, if you see an integer, you want to just add to the current sum. Okay. And then while you're traversing the other linked list, right? You have to update your previous sum, whatever equal to current sum, and then the current sum will just keep adding wherever the list you are visiting. This is because at this moment, wait for the most outer integer. I mean, let's talk about integer at this level. The most outer integer will be 2, and the other inner one will be 1 1. That is because they have the list, right? So whatever the most outer integer would treat as the heavy weight, the most heavy weight. And then how do I know how heavy it is? Based on how many lists you have inside the list. So in this scenario, this one and this one, consider level 2. So that's why this is the reason why you have 1 will be the value by itself times 1, which is the weight. And this is 1, which is the value itself times 1. And 2 will be the 2 value, and then times 2 will be the weight, and then 1, and then by the weight, and then 1 by the weight. So the idea is keep adding. So I'm going to just explain. So 2 will be the whatever, 2 will be the integer at this current level, right? So I would say 2 plus. So at this moment, the current sum will be 2, right? So now I'm traversing the nested list, okay? So if I traverse, I know like this is 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. So let me say 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. However, I cannot forget my previous sum, which is 2, which is the current sum. At this level is the current sum, right? But at this level, the current sum will be 4. But the previous sum will become 2, right? So I will add a 2 back to the output. So 2 plus whatever it is, this is 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. So this is why you want to keep stacking whatever the previous sum. And then that is how you dealing with the multiplication for the nested list. And then, yeah, pretty much it. So let me change it back. So what I can do is I'll have the previous sum equal to 0 and then current sum equal to 0. And then I will do the deque to store. So the reason why I'm using the deque is I want to create a linked list, so I will be able to know when do I need to pop, when should I, pop or not, something like this. Okay. And then new array deque. and then basically I will have to traverse. So I would say current list, nested list, basically just add into the queue, and then I will have to return total sum. So total sum will be the current sum, right? You can rename this to total sum, doesn't matter. And I will do the while the queue is not empty, and I would consider what is the current size for the queue. So at this level, the current size for the queue is 1, 2, 3, right? So I will traverse 3 times in my queue, and then at this iteration, I want to find out the current sum. Okay, so I would say current level sum, but I was, this will be easier to understand. But total sum will be a total sum. Current sum will be whatever the iteration you are traversing based on the size. So you will have a for loop to traverse the size, and then the number of times it will pop based on whatever the iteration. So at this moment, I would just say current equal to q.pop, pop, and then I'm going to consider is my current nested integer is integer or not, right? Is integer, get integer, get list, this is all the method. But in order to know if this is an integer, it's going to be is integer, right? And if this is integer, I'm going to say, current sum plus equal the current dot get integer. Okay, if this is not an integer, which is considered a list, what I should do is I want to iterate whatever the linked list I have, whatever the list I have, and add to my last index in my queue. Because how do I know this is like 2 nested lists or not, or 3? It doesn't matter. Like at this moment, this you don't even know. Like at this moment, this is going to be considered size of what? Size of 2, right? Size of 2 at the first level. 1 will be the first one, 2 will be this one. And how do you know at this nested list there's another list inside the nested list? You don't know, so you just keep adding into the queue. So I would traverse based on this. So you can use whatever the name you have. So this will be current dot get list, and then q dot offer last current list. And after the for loop, I'm going to update my previous sum equal to my current sum, and my total sum will be plus equal to my previous sum. Okay, so this is how I keep stacking whatever the iteration I'm traversing. Current sum will become the previous sum. Okay, and then total sum will plus equal the previous sum I have, which is the current sum. And then this current sum will just keep refreshing every single time from 0 to whatever the sum they have. And then previous sum will keep storing the cache. Total sum will keep stacking the cache value. So this will be the entire solution. A little bit tricky, but let's see what's going on. So I will say plus equal and then q, and okay, I find out the reason, because the previous sum has to be equal to current sum, but you also need to stack. So this is the symbol that I forgot. So yeah, whatever. So yeah, pass. So let me just keep explaining again. The previous sum will become 2 will need to keep stacking. So that's why you will keep adding the current sum you have. So and then you stack the previous sum, and then previous sum will stack on the total sum. So list will consider, you know, adding twice or adding, you know, the same integer at every single level. So this is a trick. I mean, it's really hard to explain, but just think about this. And for the time and space, space will be, you know, if you include this will be all of n. This is all of n for the time, and this is definitely all of n for the time as well. And the n represent the number of the integer in each linked list. So it's a total total integer in the linked list. This will be a solution. So yeah, think about it, and yeah, leave a comment if you have a question. See you later. Bye.